Well, I just wanted to share today with you what is the main philosophy of EnviroHomeDesign, and I wanted to start a little bit telling about my experience. I started very young in Buenos Aires, the School of Architecture, where I have my degree there, and then I was working there and teaching in Buenos Aires. And then in '86 I moved to the Bay Area, San Francisco. And over there I had an opportunity to work on renovations on these big homes and the big new homes on the Saratoga Hills also. So it was not very sustainable. Then I moved to Tucson, Arizona, and the scarcity of the desert, it makes me really think about my practice and what I was offering to my clients. So I decided to do research, and I started doing research on residential sustainable design. And that changes my practice, my professional practice, like 180 degrees. I start thinking about all the decisions that I was making and all the services that I was providing. And since the early 1990s, I switched to what we call green and sustainable design. Moved to the Arlington area in 2003 and started participating with the Green Home Choice program since then. It was the beginning of the program at that time. So EnviroHomeDesign was evolving. So since all these experiences, professional experiences that I was having, it was evolving until transforming into EnviroHomeDesign in Arlington, which is the specialty is green architectural and consulting, specializing in what I call the high quality performance residential projects. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this because we talk a lot about sustainability and we talk about green design. And my take is that all of the professionals that work with this concept, each of us, we have a particular approach and what that sustainability is and how we address it. So I try to make a short approach description, and I start with what I call the team collaboration. And the team collaboration is a very unique concept because it implies to start with the homeowner and the architect, and then the builder comes along, and then the consultants come along, depending on the scale of the project. And the coordination and the understanding of what are we doing is very important between the team to give you the best service and the best solution. And then we look at the house as a system where every part of that system works in connection to each other. So it's not a sum of parts, it's that the house works as a whole. So this is why we change or adjust or update one of the variables that affect the rest. So this is why if we look at the whole system, it's a very good approach to start talking about the solution. And then works with nature. So the design is very important for us to work with nature instead of against it. What that means is that we use the sun with the right orientation at the right season. We shade it on the summer, so we work all the decisions that we make inside the house that we can adjust to the reality that we have on the nature surrounding the house. That's what is going to make the house work passively, as passive as possible, instead of using mechanical system just to get to the comfort inside the house, the mechanical system alone. And then the life cycle concept, that it has to do with the total cost. The concept of cost is not only the initial construction cost, also goes together with the operational cost, which is how we are going to operate, heat and cool the house during the life of the house, and how much money we are going to spend doing it. So this is why there is a balance between the initial cost and the operational cost. The life cycle concept also is present on the sense that from the embodied energy, which is the energy that we need to produce the materials, to take them on the site, and then build the house have the process of living on the house in the life of the house, and then what happened at the end when the house needs to be demolished. So from that, all that cycle, we're trying to address it at the way that nature addresses, where everything replenishes and then goes back and then start again, and then start and with the less amount of energy as possible. And then what I call it the master plan. And this is a concept of the independent from the budget, okay? So we do consulting or what we call it a master plan, which is the final product. Where do you want to go if you have the total budget to address your house today? That will be the master plan. And then if you feel like we can do it on phases, it will be on phases, maybe 2 areas that you want to remodel, the 2 major areas that you want to remodel in the house, and then how we can address it in 2 times if the budget doesn't allow that. But we walk to the process of getting finished, we know exactly what the final product is going to be. Main design goals, and I debate for years through my process and through my own professional process, and then I came to the conclusion that I had to concentrate on the design, make it beautiful and functional. Those are the 2 variables that they are not green per se, but in my take they are green because it makes you feel happy and comfortable, and it's your lifestyle, it responds to your own lifestyle. It means that it makes you happy and comfortable, so that's part of the sustainability also. Then we go to the healthy variable, that the house doesn't have to have any of gassing, the quality of the air has to be as clean as possible. And then we can use passive strategies like passive ventilation and daylighting in order to make you feel comfortable also in the same space. And then resource efficient, which is related to mainly water, energy, so the use of water, the use of energy, and then the use of materials. During the construction, we have the waste of the construction or the demolition, and then during the construction, we have the amount of material that we use. Mainly, those are the short description of what the main design goals are. And then if we go to the project phases, the main phases start with the assessment of the existing conditions, which include the existing drawings, so we know the communication, how we can communicate the existing structure of the house. We have the requirements from the county, which is what we are allowed to do on the property. And then usually it comes an element that I was not including before, which is the energy or building science called salting. That sometimes, depending on the project, it will mean the energy audit. So we can have an energy audit, so where we can determine what are the existing conditions of the building related to mold issues, related to insulation, related to infiltration, especially, which is one of the common problems on these old homes. Then when we have that package, then we go to the requirements. The definition of the requirement that comes from your preferences, from the style that you feel comfortable, your lifestyle, how do you want to relate with people. So then the solution that we are going to provide is going to enhance that lifestyle. That's the idea. Then we start the design. So with the design, we propose solutions to the series of requirements that we already developed together. And usually I help on the process, so then it is your own, but also with some suggestions that maybe you didn't have in mind. And then when you realize that that's possible, then maybe sometimes you go for it. Then we develop the construction documents to get the approval to build for the building permit. And then one of the important elements is the green certification. And they are, depending again on the size of the project, there are different options. What Arlington County offers is the Green Home Choice certification, that started about 2003 that is based on the Atlanta Green Building Program. It is free and it's very easy to get on the website, on the Arlington County website. You can just look for Green Home Choice, and they are here today, so if you want to get information. They had the list of green strategies per aspects that we consider on the building. And it's very helpful to give a preliminary idea about the decisions that you are going to be making on your project, that they are going to be part of that whole house approach that I talked at the beginning. But it is in a list, so it's easier just to check them out and see which ones you want to set as your priorities, right? Because probably because of budget constraints, there are some that we are going to concentrate, but we have to determine what the priorities are and why. Then we have the Earthcraft green certification. What I like about the Earthcraft is that it was the one that Green Home Choice took as a base, but they offer the trained people that comes and do an inspection before drywall, which is very important because it means a quality control for the green strategies. So you have the inspection before drywall, and then you have the final inspection that includes the blower door test. So that way we have the quality control, means that the specifications on the project are being addressed. And this is a very important piece of the puzzle, because the Green Home Choice has trained inspectors that they come just for the inspection process, so they know a little bit more about, so they are in training, so they can address some of the issues on site. But the Earthcraft program, it gives you that quality control. It's not free though, it depends on the size of the house, but you get that extra service that is very important. It's a third party that you have on site.